This is what remains of my daughter's elevated vegetable garden that I made for her about 5 years ago now. We got a task here to make a ladder for this treehouse.
Some really good drill technique, bro.
And I could easily have gone and bought new material to do that. And that would have been easier because it's kind of a pain in the buttocks to convert this old rusty stuff back into usable material. But I think the old ways are better. The same mentality that my grandfather had when he got mad at me for drinking an entire bottle of juice that he bought for me. He stared at me. I remember him staring at me. I didn't really know what was going through his head at the moment until he blew up and explained it to me later. But he bought me a bottle of juice when I was a kid, and I proceeded to drink the whole thing in one sitting because I didn't understand the values of conservation and, to ration it out, I guess, instead of just being profligate about it. Well, I understood it afterward, let me tell you. This is the same guy who, not long after I joined the Army, and, back when I was in my Army hating phase, probably 30 years ago now, I asked him whether or not he'd like the Army when he was in. He was in it for about 3 years, right after the Korean War. And I was sure he'd say he'd hated it. And I asked him that question because I was secretly hoping to have an ally in my hatred of the Army. But instead, he said he loved it, which was a crazy response from my perspective. I asked him why, and he said, because it was the first time I ever got enough to eat, which is quite an answer. That's the guy we're talking about here. And over time, that response completely changed my perspective on quite a few different things. It was a different America, and he and his kind were a different sort of American. It wasn't the most fun thing in the world to experience his wrath when I drank down that whole bottle of juice. But that type of experience with Grandpa gave me a priceless little insight into reality, the value of which I really only understood much later. I think that's part of the mentality that I have here with regard to this metal. It's like, this is pretty ugly stuff, but you won't even know the difference once we're done with it. We're gonna take this and we're gonna convert it back to something beautiful. And there's some real value in that.